There we go. Make sure I turn off the sound on my own stream. Don't have to hear that. And then back to drawing. And I've not done any shape stuff today, so if that would go around there, then we're going to want that bit cut out, and we've got middle bit there. Let's do a little bit of an extra and this is basically the same stuff we did last time. Just as a bit of a warm up. When that perspective's off. I mean, it's still off because of this terrible corner here, but that was what I got wrong. And yeah, if anyone was wondering, this is gonna be a fairly quiety stream today, I think. Now I'll do some more ribbons and then I'll get into the bit that I was actually wanting to get done today. Hey, Kai. Oh, stretch this early. Come on. I've barely been going for 10 minutes. Oh my god, I've been going for 10 minutes already. How are you, Kai? Well, okay, since you asked so nicely, I will also do the hydrate. Let me refill my drink. Ooh. That's someone reminds me to hydrate because I keep forgetting. The past like couple of weeks have been really bad with keeping myself hydrated. Ah, not too bad. Bit tired. That's why it's mostly going to be a relatively quiety stream today. That's, I think since I think it was last Sunday the clocks changed in the UK and it's messed my sleeping pattern up. And I hate that because I like having a sleep pattern that is it's midnight, you sleep now. It's 7 a.m. You are automatically awake. Who needs alarms? I liked that. Now it doesn't work that way because the clocks messed me up. I mean, it also didn't help that I stayed up late on the night the clocks changed to finish a game on stream. That did not help. So technically, I think I was awake for 2 hours longer than I should have been. But the clock only said 1 hour. So yeah, pretty thrown off. So I thought, what better way to unwind my brain than first of all a little bit of like fundamental sketchy practice. Yeah, doing a few like rotation box things. You know, dissecting a cube, dissecting a sphere. Most of these ribbons I didn't do on stream. I did those earlier today before stream. Because ribbons are nice and calm and they don't expect anything from you. Just a couple of lines, a little bit of shading going from dark to light. On the bit where the ribbons curve. I don't like ranch, Ezzy. I know that's going to break your heart, but I don't like ranch. I'm sorry to let you know that. Oh, that's fine then. We can give it to someone that actually cares about it. Hang on, wait. Are you trying to say that you wanted me when I was in my like darkest of times to need something that I hate? See, I prefer actual flavour. Mustard, I don't do American mustard. Your radioactive shit is weird. A proper mustard, a good one that's not fluorescent, which the rest of the world has, that's good. I'm fine. I'm fine with that kind of mustard. Just not your weird fluorescent yellow stuff. You could use that stuff to like lead yourself out of a forest if you just drizzle it on the floor behind you as you walk down the path. Turn around, you just have a light along the floor as it glows. Yeah, my salad dressing of choice is actually homemade stuff. You take some olive oil, you take some apple cider vinegar, you take some mustard, bit of salt, bit of pepper, mix it all together, and drizzle it over your salad, and it's nice. Suppose I've been putting off the main thing I wanted to do today enough. I've given myself 18 minutes of warm up. I suppose we should be fine. Let's have a look. This is one of those times when I really wish that I had 3 screens that all had different things on them. Technically, I could do that, because at the moment my drawing tablet is cloning one of the other screens. I can't use a TV. I mean, I need them all to connect to the PC. Because all of them need to be able to go through OBS. Because what I need to be able to do is have this, which I'm going to preface this just in case anyone from the Twitch people are watching this. This is a practice website for artists, and I chose the clothed models. She is wearing clothes, the bits are covered. Do not be banning me for art. Okay? Okay? Actually, you know what I could do? Rather than actually, can I? I can't. Now, I was hoping I'd be able to, like, copy and paste the image out of the thing, but you can't. I mean, there is, like, a save as, so you can save the image. But I don't really want to be saving all of the images I'm working on here. Because what I've got on my other screen that is also currently being used up by chat is this. I suppose if I tweak how I've got my screens laid out. I can still see the image enough on my other screen. And I can still see chat on the other screen. And I can have the program here. That works. Because like the stream title is saying, I want to do some work on figure drawing stuff. Because figure drawing is a nightmare. Some of it's easy. I mean, well, I say easy. Trying to do things in like 30 seconds is easy but hard. Because like they expect you to be able to go like just like zoop a thing down and then just kind of like say like, you know, that indicate some legs and some arms and that is a figure drawing thing for like 30 seconds. And mine always look bad. Always look bad. But then you have ones that are like 30 minutes of figure drawing, and I'm like, at this point, it's not really figure drawing, is it? It's just drawing an image, drawing a full image, not just like figure work. This is I have to now construct the human out of pieces. So to save that, I just paused the image, so I'm not going to have to deal with a pesky timer. I can just work as I need to. We can get pieces done, work out what we need to like have, as it were. So how do we make this person's body up with construction lines and all that sort of stuff? Which is, let's say, what I want to get better as. Luckily, she's standing quite nice and straight, so she has a very, like, there is a curve. Oh, you know what? This is just me better if I save it and actually put it onto the thing that I'm working on. That was, there we go. That can go. Because this way we can draw over at the same time. Let's call this folder ref, just so I know that I can delete it all at the end of the stream. Wow, that took a while to download. What in the world are you saving? Why are you saving the entire web page? I did not want this. Right, we're going to go old school. Old print screen. There's always a way. There we go. And now I can also have chat open on the other screen without having to worry. You can, Kai, but I don't think I'm not exactly a good a good artist for other things. I tend to only do like the random shit in my head. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that one. Like most of the stuff that we've done before for Art Stream has been either these sort of like general exercises that I started today off with, or stuff to do with the TTRPG. Stuff like this. When we're like doing actual like creature design stuff. Making sheep's big fat bison relatives. It's one of the reasons why I want to get better at the construction stuff, like with humanoid figures and animals in general, so that I can actually get better at the creature design, because that's what other than drawing furry stuff, because that gets money, which is also fun to have. The creature design is fun, and I would like to draw more like bat furries. Just obviously me as this, but I just like bats, and so I want to draw more of them. But of course, being a furry artist, you need to know animal and human construction, physiology, anatomy, and all that stuff, which is a pain. Which is why today we're looking at people. We don't want to look at people. We'd rather look at animals. Animals are cuter, but alas, at some point I've got to do this. Yeah, the one thing that I do remember is that the backbone and all that is never perfectly straight. It has like a weird curve to it there, and then it curves backwards, and then it curves back again, and the entire body is like this. So we have the neck curve, then we have the upper back curve, and the curve for the lower back, then the back of the body curves again, and then you have a curve for the front of the leg, and then the bottom of the leg, the lower leg, then has like a weird curve to it like that. The human body is never very straight at the back. I mean, the only difference is that this back part of the leg, that's how the bone is, but luckily we have muscle that will sort of bulk that bit out. And I've just realised I drew that on the same layer as the image. Never mind. I'm an idiot. That always happens. Luckily, it wasn't drawn over the top of it, so I can just go whoop and move you to the side. And pretend like none of it ever happened. So that's from the profile of someone in shape. That is what the back tends to look like. Usually a nice rib cage, There's a nice pelvis at the front. Bit of a gap in the middle. You know, there's got to be somewhere for the guts to go. And it's very like basic, but you can kind of follow the person's curves of the spine and bits. Again, like I say, I'm not good at it, as you can see from the fact that my lines are a bit shaky and it's not quite proportional. But that's the reason we practice, so I can not suck at this. The things like the rib cage is more, you know, like that, but then there's the shoulder blades that help add that bit of curve. And it probably is more like down here for the rib cage because of the collarbone at the top rather than being up here. But a lot of the reason behind the construction stuff is simplifying things so that you don't have to just look at a thing and go, ah, I need to know all of the anatomy. So, you know, we've got the rib cage comes down here and you've got your collarbones up here. Trying to remember where every little bit goes can be a nightmare. It's like, if I remember right, there's like a muscle that goes like on here. There's a muscle that goes around the side. And then there's a muscle that goes on the other side as well. So there's like 3 big muscles at the top of the leg. I'm gonna admit I haven't really done much work on like human anatomy. At least for like muscle structure and stuff. My knowledge is very bare bones. It's why I'm still on the construction phase of, can I put a rib cage and a pelvis together and make a person? But as with the other streams that I've mentioned, if I don't do this on stream, I would ignore it and not do any. And then in 2 months' time, I'll kick myself for having spent 2 months not doing anything. And I've done this for about 15 years. Where I would do a bit, think that's cool, completely forget to practice for months upon months upon months, usually about 12. I would go to draw again and go, oh yes, I was learning to draw, I'd best get back onto that. Do about a week or two, get distracted, 12 months goes by, go back to it, rinse and repeat for most of my freaking life. And it's one of those things that if I could go back now, 15 years ago, and say, no, just keep going, seriously, keep going. If you do this for 15 years, you're going to be amazing. I would. Because I kind of kick myself after all of these years, knowing that if I had spent the past 15 years trying to properly learn, I would be so good. You can require as many sacrifices as you want, Ezzy. I cannot give them to you. Nope, I cannot give you any. Which is also funny, I could technically, if I had, I could put a poll up, or like a prediction. I have unlimited sacrifices. I could easily say, oh yes, I put loads of like my infinite sacrifices in and choose the wrong answer. You choose the right one and it would work. The only problem is the person that, if you have put prediction stuff in you can't close the prediction. So the Twitch people kind of knew that mods could cheat the system to get loads of channel points by doing this. And also, if the mod had like put a load of points in and wasn't happy with the outcome, they could just choose the outcome themselves to benefit them and ignore the rest of chat. So yeah, Twitch made sure you can't close one that you've taken part in. Otherwise, they would give you loads of points. Yeah, so the easiest way that I found of trying to learn this stuff is and let me, 3 steps to do it. The first one is you draw over the body so that you can work out what needs to be done. The next one is you do the same thing but not on the body. And then the next one is you hide the body entirely and you work from the one you drew. And then at the end of it, you take the one you drew without looking at the body, put it over the top and see if they match. Is it the most effective? I don't know. Does it help you learn from your mistakes? Yeah, kind of. But like I say, we know that, you know, the rib cage is sort of down here. So we can draw our basic rib cage and, you know, not think of how much it looks like a certain thing. I should have chosen a different color than red for this. I have now realized this. And I did see another thing, I think a few weeks ago, on how to actually proportion out the pelvis with a construction line. If you know where the front of it's meant to be, you know where it's going to start going under. You know where the crotch bit is. And you also know where the top of the leg starts. So you can draw in the lines where the pelvis attaches to the leg. And then from that you can like put it together like that. Which is one way of doing it. I know there are some people that do it as a box. Like some people will do the pelvis like entirely, you know, like that. Some people will do it just as like a slightly tapered cylinder. You can do it like this. The benefit of this is no one's ever going to see these other bits when you finish the drawing, because these are the bits that are just there to help you at the start. So if you are ever doing it, just find the one that works. I mean, I have found that with this one at least, because you have like the bit here that you know this is where the leg attaches, it's a bit easier to sort of work out where you want the lines to go. So let's see if we wanted this because obviously when you're drawing from reference, you don't have to follow the reference exactly. You can tweak it. And obviously, I'm not drawing from reference at the moment. I'm studying, which is why I'm drawing over and tracing. Tracing is fine when you're learning. Do not do it for actual art, because that is being a bit of a shit. But for example, if you've figured out your pelvis shape from your reference image, but you're like, you know what? She needs to be thicker. At least with this way, because you know where the leg is meant to join in, you can just exaggerate parts of the curve. Whereas I found that when using the methods that people have used, like using the sort of tapered cylinder, because of the way it is, I always end up starting the legs from down here, and it just doesn't work right for me. Because the legs should start up here and then go around like that. So I've not found doing this shape particularly helpful for it. And the same with the box. Especially because the side of it is flat. Unless you have more of an understanding of like the anatomy and stuff of where things need to be, you kind of like not really even paying attention to the box anymore. It's just like a thing that's there and you're drawing around it, rather than say something like this, which is helping you construct it as a piece of the body. So like I say, I found it easier to work with this shape for the pelvis. Whether that works for anyone else, I don't know. It at least worked for the person that I picked it up from YouTube. I cannot remember. They were like, oh god, that's gonna bug me now. I think it was the Korean artist, but I couldn't read this. I could not tell you the name of their channel because it was in katakana or kanji or I don't know. It was in one of the non-Roman alphabet kanji things, which is why I'm not sure if it's Korean or Japanese or Chinese. I'm not good enough at kanji to tell the difference between the alphabets yet. But I think they were Korean, going by the accent they had when they were talking. But that is a complete guess. But like I said, unfortunately, it means that I have no idea what the name of their channel was to tell everyone to go and look. Because this was weeks ago, and it was one of those offhand YouTube recommended that I have a watch and go, oh, that's actually quite useful, and then forget to click subscribe. But yeah, we can do. Let's redo our Among Us and try and do that better. Because really, we only need it to be. We need it to be more basic. I mean, if we want to add in some details afterwards, we can, but we're never gonna, unless you want the details on there of like the rib cage and stuff. Don't necessarily need to have anything more than an oval. Got a couple of shoulder joints. Actually going to push that hip a little bit further into the curve. Then we'd have the knee joints and ankle joints. And that is kind of the building blocks. Because from that, as long as you know what sort of shapes you need to use, you can build from there. I mean, to be fair, you probably would also want to put in the elbow joints, which I forgot to do. Hey, Wishipa. My posture is hideous, and I don't care. I have checked it. The Redeem does not say fix your posture, it just says check it. I have checked it, it's terrible. And I will get the stretch. But unlike a certain sheep boy, I will not make a moan for you. Okay, so that was the first of the 3 steps that I know about when trying to like do these things is drawing over the reference. Thank you, Lord. Don't make him moan too loud, the neighbours will complain. Yeah, so second stage, now that we've got this, is to draw it again away from the body and try to match it. And we've already screwed up. Is that's just me. It's just the fact that it's red on blue. It's making it like really weird and blurry on the edge, and it's making my brain go a little bit weird. So that was step 2. And then step 3 was we've moved that one entirely, so we cannot see her. So we're going entirely from the construction that we have put together. That why have you? I did not ask for you to change thingy. So first one was kind of like in the middle, and the next one was next to it. You went down to that one, and then you went down to there. And I can already see one thing that's gone wrong is that I've been slowly increasing the size as we've been going through these. So if we bring her back, we hide those two. It's not that far off, but I've screwed up some of the some of the lengths of bits. So we had to like tweak it to get the pelvis in the right angle. So the pelvis and the ribs kind of match. The ribs do match, that's for sure. The pelvis, I've accidentally, in terms of like adding the drawing, it's too long. Can I change the color of this line, please? So the red one is the original, the green one is the one that we've done as an iteration, going through this like way of getting the like the lengths and proportions correct when doing these construction bits from memory. So the first part was drawing over the reference to know what the actual proportion is. The second one was drawing it whilst looking at the proportions to try and get it to work. And the third one was taking the reference away entirely and just having your construction to work from. So as we can see, the red one is the original, green one is final one. We've kind of accidentally put her body through the rack of the medieval torture device of stretching her out by accident. I wonder if not quite. It's still a little bit off. So that's more an issue with my observation and what my hand is actually doing, which is a thing that you fix with practice, unfortunately. But that is basically, from what I've seen over a number of YouTube videos of watching trying to get this done and trying to like work out how this works. This is like one of the better methods I've seen of how to do it whilst trying to understand the basic like underlying fundamental of why you're trying to do this. I mean, we going from this one, the top part, we weren't far off getting the proportions right from that first one we sketched. We just kind of like put the knees down and the ankles down way too far. Of course, there's nothing stopping you from doing that on purpose. Yeah, in the same way that when we started this bit, I'd mentioned the fact that, using this shape means you can, like, purposefully push the angles. And as long as your proportions kind of work, you can still have a character that looks right. I say right in the loosest sense. Yeah, we've basically made a Pixar mum here. But in the same way that you can do that and like tweak it, you can just like do it like this and then just make them just have like really long legs. Not to be confused with the long legs, which was from a different stream. Yeah, there's nothing stopping you from making them have like really long legs. Of course, that's not really the point of it. It's because the whole point of this isn't so much doing the character design, it's trying to like get the construction right. Because the one thing that I've seen from a lot of places whilst I've been trying to learn this myself is that the people that mess around with stuff and do it properly, so all those people that have got like the really like crazy looking art styles that don't look realistic at all, but you still know and it still looks perfect, it still looks amazing. The reason they can do that is because they learn how to do it properly first and then learn which bits that they can mess around with. So a perfect example is this, with making the thighs thick. If you know that, the leg would normally go in like that, the rough shape, you can push that. You can really push that if you want. It's gonna have a very odd character shape, but maybe that's what you're after. That's kind of the whole character design bit of this, which you get to once you know what you're doing, which I don't. But to know how to mess things around enough to make them look good, you need to know how to make them look good normally first. At least that's how most things are trying to teach it. There probably are some people out there that can just go straight into making really cool designs and have it look right. And those are either people that have got natural talent or just doodled a lot and just have just a natural eye for proportions, which can happen. It's not not unheard of. There are people out there that are just good without putting in a lot of effort. The only difference is, you can still get there with hard work as well to the same level as them. And the difference is you worked hard, you've learned more about it than they did with their natural talent. They just did it and have no idea how. But if you've learned all the construction bits behind it, like I know someone, well, I knew someone when I was at school who was an absolute Disney fanatic, and they could draw pretty much every single Disney character you could think of really well. But if you tried to get them to draw anything that wasn't a Disney character, they couldn't do it. Because they didn't understand what and how it was made. They just copied what they had seen so much that they could easily replicate a Mickey Mouse or a Pluto or an Aladdin or a Jasmine or whatever and do it quite seamlessly. Looks perfect, looks like they're amazingly talented. But if you came along and said, "Oh, can you draw me can you draw me an elephant?" The best you'll get is they would draw an elephant from the Jungle Book because it's something that they've already seen. Can I draw you a stick? Yes. I love the fact that I said yes and drew that just as the ad break started. No, it wasn't. It was a line, Ace. It was a line. Well, I'll just sit here talking to, I think just Ezzy and Sheepa, who are the ones that I don't think are being affected by ads right now. And we'll wait for the ad break to end. I'm really annoyed that for some reason the request queue has decided to go the wrong way. So now the most recent ones are at the bottom of the list, which does not help me at all, because I'm sure it used to be the other way around. "30 seconds left, and then we will be back." And the ads are over. I don't know what you're talking about, Ace. There's nothing here. It wasn't anything. I just simply drew you a stick. I don't know what you were thinking of. I mean, unless you want to be like really awkward and you want me to like. Draw you an actual kind of looking stick thing. That's another fun exercise to do is drawing trees. Just type into your search engine of choice, cool looking tree. And you'll get a bunch of them that are like just really like weird shapes that are like that kind of like weird looking shape because of how they've grown. Like this bit grew first and then it kind of like half broke, and then these two offshoots managed to come out of the bit in the middle and it survived. Like I've got one that's a tree that has kind of, it's in an old temple. I don't know where the temple is. I'm not, architecture person. But it's like all like the little bits of detail in of like the roofing and stuff. The tree has grown along it. So you've got like this big giant tree and it's like followed all of these like bits of like the detailing on this temple, and it looks really, really cool. I should have it in my reference folder because I am a nerd and I have a reference folder that's organized. Number 1, rocks. Number 2, trees. Number 3, bones. Number 4, insects. Number 4, animals. But if I'm looking at the trees, where are you? Is it that one? Was this one? Look at that for a tree. I have no idea how that thing grew that way. But it's kind of like following all the bits of the brickwork and everything. It looks really cool. And also, one of the reasons I like it is you can quite easily, take some colours and what if you gave it a couple of eyes? You've got the beginnings of a TTRPG monster right there. That could be its face. Those could be tentacles, not roots of a tree. They could still be roots of a tree. It could be a weird ant-like creature. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to call it there because I don't really. My brain has kind of melted a little bit because I was originally going to just draw figures, ignore chat entirely, and not try and teach people what I'm trying to think of. But then I started talking, and now my energy has drained because I've had to understand what I'm talking about in the best way I can, which is usually not good. Like I say, I am still not great at this. I'm not terrible, and it's taken years for me to be able to accept that I'm not terrible at these things. But I'm not a professional. Well, technically, I have been paid, which I think usually is what classes. But no, I'm still not a professional person. I don't do this as a job. I'm still learning. And one of the reasons why I do like doing these things on stream is because I have to explain the reasoning behind what I'm doing, which is meant to make the learning better. I've seen a few things that say, you know, when you're learning it, if you try and understand it from the perspective of you trying to teach someone, it makes it sink in better. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm rolling the dice and doing that on stream anyway, looking like a pillock. And there's a word from England for you, a pillock. It means an idiot. It means you're being a bit daft. You're being stupid. Yeah, we've done a little bit of like the fundamentally bits at the start. Yeah. We went through our ribbons. Some like the form exercises to warm up of like rotating things, doing a bit of dissection. We did some more ribbons because, like I say, most of these I drew them before stream, but we did some more of them on stream. We went through the bit of like how the because funny enough, the site I use for these things is lineofaction.com, and line of action is the line of action within a body, you know. And hers is pretty much just a dead straight line because, you know, she's not doing anything. But we went through the whole fact that, let me make sure I'm on there. Right, let's see, you know, we've got the weird fact that the human body does this when it comes time, you know, when it has the layout of like we've got the neck, the upper back, the lower back, the butt, the thighs, and then the calf muscles. It does the weird like alternate curves thing, which is helpful when trying to work out what angles to do things. Then we did the overdraw on the figure to work out what it should look like. And then we did the bit afterwards, you know, step 2, which was looking at the figure and drawing it away from it. So we're trying to get our eyes to observe properly and draw it at the right proportions. And then doing the same thing, but simplified, so that we aren't looking at all the weird little details of human bodies that are going to distract us from the basics. And then we made it a weird, like, sexy Among Us, because, you know, why the hell not? I mean, someone was going to do it, and someone has already done it because Rule 34 is a thing. And then, of course, we drew a stick for Ace Beanie because Ace Beanie's weird. Yeah, gone through I wouldn't say like a major amount of stuff, but it's like at least if anyone's trying to follow along with the madness of me randomly drawing, I hope I've at least explained it well enough that you can kind of like get a grasp of it. Like I say, I'm not trying to teach, but it's more to help me learn it, is the reason I'm trying to teach it. Because I know that I'm teaching badly, because I'm not a good teacher at this stuff. But if at the end of the day, it sounds interesting to people and they try it and then they end up going and looking up better tutorials, at least they've started drawing, and that's something. Everyone should be everyone can draw. It's not a thing that you're born with. You know, it's just a thing of practice. I mean, I know that I've mentioned in previous art streams, I keep stuff from a few years ago handy, so I can look back at what I have tried to do years ago. So that I can think to myself, well, okay, in 2017, how bad was I? Oh, I was really bad. And at least, even though I don't see that I've improved, I have a reference to go back to. Do the same thing. If you are wanting to learn, make some shitty drawings today. Keep them. Keep practicing for a year. And then look back at the thing that you drew first and look at how different they are. And you'll see how, even if it doesn't feel like you've got better, you will see how far you've come. And it helps kind of get rid of that annoying little voice in your head sometimes, you know, the one that's like, why are you bothering? You're not getting better. You should just quit. That annoying voice, I know we all have it, especially when it comes to learning a new skill. But if you have got stuff from before and stuff you have now, you've done, that you can look at and physically have it on your, like, in front of your face, you can tell your brain to shut up because you have proof that you are better than you were when you started. And then do the same for another year later. I mean, I have one of the books that I've got is called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, and it goes via the logical side of the brain rather than the creative side. So things like it teaches you to not look at the face, but look at the lines, look at the silhouette, look at the negative space around it, not the face itself, to try and get your brain to understand and observe. And one of the first things it says in that book is, draw a self-portrait of yourself. Look in the mirror and draw a picture of yourself before you have learned how to draw. And then fold it up, seal it together, and write on it, do not open until I'm better at drawing. I still have that sitting on my shelf, and I did that like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and I have not opened it yet. At some point, when I feel more confident in my art skills, I'm going to do another self-portrait. And then I'm going to open that one that I did 5 years ago and be terrified at the monstrosity that's in that little sheet of paper that I drew compared to what I will have got. And I have started to ramble because I lost track of what I was actually going to talk about. But that is fine. That is fine. The important thing is, if you want to learn to draw, just start. You know, there are hundreds of thousands of books out there to teach you. There's entire YouTube channels dedicated to this stuff. The one that I found recently that's really good is Mark Brunett, MarcBrunet. He's got some really good YouTube videos. It's where I've got like things like the ribbon exercise and the form exercise we did last art stream. His videos where I got those from. And that's why I've been practicing them. Hey, don't. So if you do end up wanting to learn these things, it's easy to get access to it now. Back when I first started 15 years ago, the best I could have was a shitty how to draw manga book, which doesn't really tell you anything. Gives you it gives you the construction stuff of this, but doesn't explain to you why you're doing it. You can still have those how to draw manga books somewhere because they're actually pretty good if you just want inspiration. They're just not great at teaching you what to do. Whereas now we have like YouTube videos that will show you someone drawing, and seeing someone draw it is so much more useful than just seeing snapshots of the process. You know, it's all well and good a book saying, you know, step 1, draw the circle. Step 2, draw the rest of the fucking owl. But if you can see a video of someone doing it, it's so much better. Because you can see all the little bits that they haven't put in those steps. You know, all the like the step 2 through 25 that they forgot to mention they do because they don't even see it as part of the process anymore, because that's just what they do when they're drawing. So yeah, highly recommend Mark Burnett on YouTube. Proco, also a very good one for YouTube. They got some very good anatomy stuff on there. Also has a podcast with Marshall. I've forgotten his second name. But he's a fairly old person that's been doing art for a long time. Has been teaching art for like I think 30 or 40 years, and he has an extremely fun personality. So yeah, highly recommend Proco, and I think it's the Draftsman podcast that they do. And of course, if you want just like stuff that's fun to see what you can mess around with, go for Drawfee. All those, you know, all those ones that are on Drawfee are very good at drawing, and they have some incredibly funny videos of like, we're gonna draw the Thomas the Tank Engine, but as horrors, and then they make some horrific monstrosities by the end of the video. So yeah, highly recommend them as well if you're trying to get into art. Let us have a look. Who have we got online? Because I would like to sleep. I want to get my schedule back after the annoying time change that we've had. And there's one person online that I follow. I don't think I've rated them before. Freya Tail. I think Chubb rated them once. I think that's how I know about them. I think it was Chubb anyway. I'm not sure. But we'll raid them. They're currently playing through Thief Gold. So a nice classic game for people. But as always, thank you for watching. It's been fun, and I hope being informative. Stream tomorrow. I don't know what we're doing. We'll see. Might be some Nautica, might be art, might be something else. I don't know yet. We'll find out tomorrow. Until then, thank you everyone for watching, and I will send you over to Freya. So take care. Bye-bye.